New York City, one of the most iconic cities in the world, a place of commerce, culture, and innovation. But before it became a global powerhouse, it was something else. A small Dutch colony on the edge of the New World known as New Amsterdam. The story of New York's origins begins in the early 1600s, with the Dutch Republic rising as a dominant force in global trade. Their fleet ruled the seas, and their ambitions stretched across continents. Seeking wealth and opportunity, the Dutch turned their attention to North America. Their goal? To establish a foothold in the lucrative fur trade. In 1624, the Dutch West India Company laid the foundation of New Netherland. 2 years later, a man named Peter Minuit arrived at the mouth of a great river and made a deal that would change history. In 1626, Peter Minuit, the Dutch governor, is said to have purchased the island of Manhattan from the Lenape people for goods worth 60 Dutch guilders, about 1,000 in today's money. But was it really a purchase? Historians debate whether the Lenape understood the European concept of land ownership. To them, land was not something to be owned but shared. Nevertheless, the Dutch built a settlement on the southern tip of Manhattan. They called it New Amsterdam. At first, it was a simple trading post, home to a few hundred settlers. But soon, it grew into a bustling town of merchants, artisans, and traders. The streets were alive with different languages: Dutch, English, French, and even the first recorded Jewish settlers in North America. New Amsterdam was unlike many other colonies of its time. It was a city of commerce, not conquest. The Dutch welcomed a mix of people: Germans, Scandinavians, Africans, and even religious refugees from Europe. This settlement became a melting pot, a characteristic that remains in New York to this day. But New Amsterdam wasn't without its challenges. As the colony grew, so did the need for strong leadership. In 1647, Peter Stuyvesant arrived as governor. A strict and sometimes harsh leader, he imposed new laws to bring order to the colony. He improved the city's defenses, repaired the fort, and even built a wall to keep out potential invaders. That wall? It later became Wall Street, the financial heart of modern New York. Under Dutch rule, New Amsterdam thrived. The colony's economy revolved around fur trading, farming, and shipping. The Dutch also introduced something revolutionary: tolerance. Unlike many European settlements, New Amsterdam allowed religious freedom, which attracted diverse communities, including the first Jewish settlers in North America in 1654. But the Dutch were not the only European power eyeing the New World. To the east, England was expanding its colonies, and King Charles II saw New Netherland as a prize worth taking. In 1664, 4 English warships appeared in the harbor, demanding the surrender of New Amsterdam. Peter Stuyvesant, ever the fighter, wanted to resist. But the townspeople, outnumbered and outgunned, refused to fight. With little choice, Stuyvesant surrendered the colony without bloodshed. And just like that, New Amsterdam became New York, named after the Duke of York, the king's brother. The transition from Dutch to English rule brought changes, but not as many as one might expect. The English allowed many Dutch laws to remain, including religious tolerance and trade policies. The city's Dutch character endured. Even today, traces of New Amsterdam can still be found in New York's street names. Broadway was once Breedweg. Harlem was named after the Dutch city of Haarlem. Brooklyn came from Brooklyn. And of course, the city's financial district still carries the name of the old Dutch Wall Street. Though New Amsterdam became New York, the Dutch spirit never left. The Dutch brought ideas of religious tolerance, free trade, and urban planning that shaped the city's future. They also gave America one of its most beloved traditions: Santa Claus, based on the Dutch figure Sinterklaas. And what about Wall Street? The Dutch were among the first to create stock exchanges, laying the foundation for the world's financial capital. Even the famous New York attitude, a mix of resilience, ambition, and openness, can be traced back to the early Dutch settlers, who built a thriving city out of a remote outpost. So, as we walk through the bustling streets of New York today, we are walking through history that began not as an English colony, but as a Dutch dream. New Amsterdam may be long gone, but its legacy is alive in the city that never sleeps.